Hello everybody, David Schuster here. Did you hear about J.D. Vance? The vice president just made the case again that he's a slimy, self-righteous sleazeball. In the White House Oval Office, Vance denied plans to host a strategy meeting over the Jeffrey Epstein case.
I saw it reported today, and it's completely fake news. We're not meeting to talk about the Epstein situation, and I think the reporter who reported it needs to get better sources.
The reporter needs better sources, said Vance. Well, several Trump White House officials, sources, told multiple journalists the meeting was planned.
He planned to host a strategy dinner on Jeffrey Epstein and the Epstein files. Sources say top administration officials planned to meet at the vice president's residence yesterday as they weigh whether to release the transcript of an interview with Epstein co-conspirator Ghislaine Maxwell. But now Vance says the dinner never happened and was never scheduled in the first place.
Although that depends on your definition of scheduled. White House officials insist a meeting was organized for the Vance residence and then got changed when the story leaked. But the strategizing over the Epstein case continues, and by all accounts, it includes Vice President Vance. Of course, getting a straight answer from Vance on anything is almost impossible. Case in point, headline, J.D. Vance's team had water level of Ohio River raised for family's boating trip. Quote, J.D. Vance's team had the Army Corps of Engineers take the unusual step of changing the outflow of a lake in Ohio to accommodate a recent boating excursion on a family holiday, The Guardian has learned. The request from the U.S. Secret Service was made to support safe navigation of the U.S. Vice President's security detail for an August outing on the Little Miami River, according to a statement by the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers. Vance was spotted in the southwestern Ohio area on the 2nd of August, his 41st birthday, according to social media posts that noted he was seen canoeing on the river, a tributary that Caesar Creek Lake feeds into. One source with knowledge of the matter who communicated with The Guardian anonymously alleged that the outflow request for the Caesar Creek Lake was not just to support the Vice President's Secret Service detail, but also to create ideal kayaking conditions. That's right. Vice President Vance treated a public lake and river like his own private bath. Talk about indulgence. And Vance did this while millions of Americans face dwindling access to their own parks and lakes. The National Park Service has been gutted, staff slashed, trails closed, and hours shortened, all in the name of efficiency. Meanwhile, an Ohio river was made nice and deep for Vance's little birthday paddle, deep enough for the vice-regal backside to remain dry, safe, and comfortable. The locals, of course, were never consulted. The lakefront residents feeding the river saw water vanish from their docks. The river folk were never asked whether their weekend fishing trip should be sacrificed for His Excellency's joyride. And all of this, naturally, was paid for by the American taxpayer, the perennial chump who funds the glutton of the powerful while being scolded for needing food stamps. It is not enough that we pay for the vice president's motorcade, his security detail, his gourmet lunches, his speechwriters, and his self-mytholizing PR team. Now, we must arrange the landscape itself, lower lakes and raise rivers, just so Vance can cosplay for a couple of hours as Huck Finn. Our nation has endured fools like J.D. Vance before, and we will again, but rarely has our nation endured such a florid combination as Vance's self-pity, self-regard, and self-service, all wrapped in a soggy birthday kayak. If there were any justice, the Little Miami River would have refused Vance passage by rising up not in honor, but in protest, with a sudden wave flipping Vance's kayak over and depositing him squarely in the mud. Because that is where one usually finds bottom feeders like J.D. Vance. In Vance, we find his muck all too frequently now in the White House, lying on Donald Trump's behalf and showing contempt for basic facts and reality. Donald Trump, of course, is also trying to bend reality, especially with the Epstein sex trafficking case.
Look, the whole thing is a hoax. It's put out by the Democrats because we've had the most successful 6 months in the history of our country, and that's just a way of trying to divert attention to something that's total bullshit.
In the same appearance, Donald Trump called the Epstein scandal bullshit, but also professed ignorance about the story. In other words, Old Man Orange cannot keep his story straight, which is why White House officials, including Vance, are having such a difficult time trying to extricate Trump from his sordid past. Bending a river and screwing over the public is one thing. Changing reality in countless court files and fooling the public, well, that is not so easy.
Is the government hiding Epstein's alleged client? Let's get this. 69% of Americans agree that the federal government is, in fact, hiding Epstein's alleged client list versus just 6% who say that they are not. And get this, a majority of Republicans and Democrats do, in fact, agree on this issue that the government is hiding Epstein's alleged client list.
By the way, a former Fox News host is giving Donald Trump a dire warning about the Epstein case.
There will be an insurrection if he pardons Ghislaine Maxwell. And it won't just be coming from the left. It'll be coming from the middle of America, the independents. It'll be coming from Republicans, and it'll be coming from MAGA.
I look forward to reading your comments about Vice President J.D. Vance getting busted for trying to change reality about Donald Trump and on an Ohio river. I'm David Schuster. Thanks for joining us.